Hey all, I hope you're all good. Something went horribly wrong with my video and I had to end up basically muting it and speaking over it. So I'm only going to speak in parts, but anyway, it's the repair of this rather large doll. She's a good 8 inches and I'm just choosing a fabric here, and I go with this good quality Irish linen, and I think that suits the purpose well. And I just try and take her down a little bit by taking a bit of the sawdust out, which I do keep the sawdust in case I need it for any other projects. So anyway, I'm not going to talk all the way through it because it's just too mind-boggling for me personally. You know what I'm like. So anyway, I'll let you watch some of it and then I'll come back in a bit. I just want to say a big thank you to anybody that left me a comment. I really appreciate it, and you really have left me some fantastic comments. And anybody who subscribed and liked too. And if you haven't subscribed already and you're watching me on a regular basis, if you could subscribe, that would be fantastic. Okay, I decided to repair the actual rips that were there, just to reinforce them, and then I sew on the Irish linen to cover it all up. And I can't remember at what point I brought this downstairs and finished it off, because I think you'll see the light fading, and I end up having to bring it downstairs and doing a good bit of it myself at night time, because I was never going to get it finished otherwise. Here I put some of the sawdust back into her arm because, as I say, I didn't realise she was quite so in a poor state, so I have to put a bit of sawdust back and sew it back up. And I tried a bit of darning, not to the best of my ability. Well, definitely to the best of my ability, but not the best of darning. But anyway, I end up darning both arms in the end. I have a close look at her legs and decide that they need to be taken off and to reseal them at the top and then sew them back in place. This was definitely the best option, as they were just open and the sawdust was quite able to spill out if that's the way I'd have sewn them back on. So for me it seemed like the best way. Right here I'm taking some embroidery thread and I put it round the bottom of a leg between the china portion and the actual cloth, because it's not coming undone but it's slightly loose, and I decide that because she has been in such a state, it's probably best to do this as a cautionary measure, and it actually looks quite pretty, to be fair, in the end. I put some of my sticky plaster on her arms as well as the darning because, like I said before, it wasn't the best of jobs, but also the fabric really was quite fragile. So again, precautionary measure, but it looks okay. This is a real hair scrunchie. It's never been worn, as I had it for a wedding and ended up not using it in the end. So after having a close look at it and unwinding it, I realised it was all bound together, so it was a really good, like on wefts I think they call it. So I cut it into sections and glued it onto her head, and I think it worked out all right. She's got a bit of a bouffant, but at least it's real. I chose this fabric and then decided to sew it on my sewing machine as it would hasten things up a bit. In actual fact, in the end, I altered the design a bit, but you'll see that in a while. And here I'm just making her pantaloons, making it up as I go along as usual, but they're actually okay. I used some old worn ribbon to draw in her waist and to draw in it round her legs, and I was rather pleased with the overall look in the end. Now I'm using the cloud glue to stick a head on, and I'd put a bit too much on, so I had to empty some back into the little container. But it actually worked really well. It's a very, very good glue for all purposes. I'm just sewing some darts into her bodice here. There was a good bit of adjustment to be done, just making sure it fitted. I wanted it quite tight fitting, so I had to keep snipping away and getting the right shape, but got there in the end. This is the trim off the doily that I'd used for her bodice, and it came in very useful because it was a really nice shape, so I used it in a few places. Well, here she is finished, and overall I was rather pleased with her. I did cut that lace off the bottom of the dress, which I think made it was in a big improvement.
And then Snout, let's make a surprise Christmas pudding for Beth. Put some more sultanas in there. Get out the bowl, there's no bacon in Christmas pudding. You watch that while I go and get a bowl. What you doing, you greedy lump? Get off the table. Well, that's going to be really teeny tiny, innit? So come here, you. I'll sort you out. Beth's not going to like this. Bye for from Tobias.
Hi. Right, today I thought I'd change this into a bed. I got it the other day. I was just strolling around architectural place and I bought a few things and I just asked him about this and he threw it in. So actually quite pretty. So let's get on with it. Right, I've cut myself some bits of wood. I didn't think you needed to see me do that. You've seen me do it plenty of times on my Dremel. So I've got the wood ready. I've got some glue on this baseboard. I am now going to attempt, and I say attempt because it's quite a tricky business to get that in line and straight. I think that's about it. Ouch. Whoa. Well, sometimes, honestly, I can't believe myself. Last night, I was thinking about this bed, as you do, before you go to sleep. Or even wake up thinking of it. And I kept thinking about this, and I kept thinking, do you know what? That looks like the back plate of my range in my big doll's house that we had a look at last week. I mean, obviously it hasn't got this on it, but the shell shape and all this sort of stuff looks really like it. And I thought, that would make an amazing range. So I searched the whole internet trying to find another one of these or something similar. There's nothing out there. So I think it is a genuine old one, to be honest. So what I've decided to do is take the bed apart this morning and keep this for a range project, which we can do maybe in a few weeks' time. So it's back to the drawing board. So I've kept this part of the bed. This is the base. I've taken those bits of wood off because I realised that once I put a mattress on, and if a mattress is about that thick, and there'd be nothing left to show. So this is going to be the baseboard anyway, and I'm going to reset these lower down. So there's another few reasons for taking it apart, but that, to be honest, that was not really any of it. But so I'm going to use this. Now this is biggish scale, I suppose, but I don't care about that, as you know. So I'm going to, and luckily this piece of wood was already cut, because it was my husband was making me settle, but he's not here. I'll tell him when he gets back that I've used the wood he had cut ready. So yeah, not to worry. So I think that needs to be at least about that tall, and obviously it's not going to be square, so I'll give it a bit of shape. Probably just take the shape of this at the top, like I did for that one. Well, after much to do, and that really was much to do, that is not even, to be fair, but it's as good as it's going to get, because I have really, second one, I had to do it twice. So anyway, that's going to go on there. I mean, I'll try and get it a bit more even with some sandpaper maybe. It'll do. I'm sure it won't be as noticeable when it's stained down. I just need to get this fixed on. So now I'm going to have to fix that onto there. I cut 2 pieces. I could not get my machine to cut straight, but anyway, I've done 2 better runners, which are going to go there and there. Right, first stage, that's glued on okay. It's not the neatest of job, because obviously I've had this bed apart and put it back together, and what can I say? I'm not 100% happy with that for some reason. It's, although it's bonded, it's left a gap. But anyway, so what I need to do now is, right, this is the stage I'm at. I've used lots of glue in this project, which isn't ideal, to be honest with you, but I've had to. So yeah, I've glued those along there. I've lost my foot base because it came off, so I need to put that back on. So I did another piece on here to give it a bit more to cling to, and now I'm going to put that back on. Right, this is what we've got. I have glue all over me, all over the work surface, everywhere. It's just awful. But it's more or less there now, just some feet to put on. So as you can see, I don't know how big that is. It looks quite big. I'll have a look at it compared to me other bed I've got in there. Hopefully it isn't too bad, but yeah. Right, I had a quick look. It's a little bit wider, but the same length, so it's a king size. Okay, right, bed's at that point. We're all together. We just need the feet putting on. I can't remember if I've shown you that or not. Now I'm sacrificing for brand new paintbrushes, but I'll still be able to use them. They're only cheap ones anyway, for the feet, because I'm going to glue those together at that point, cut that off, and then that'll make the feet. I just think, well, I'm hoping that if it is, it seems to have a slight twist on it for some reason, so I'm hoping that this way I can adjust it a little bit, but it just depends, I suppose, at what point I cut it off. So yeah, we'll get on with it. Right, I've had a super fast tidy up, and I mean super fast. As you can see, there's still sawdust to the side. But I just need to cut these off, so that's my plan. I don't know if the glue's completely set yet, because I haven't used super glue. See, I can still use my paintbrush. They'll be fine. I mean, they are cheap and nasty ones anyway. Certainly wouldn't use them. Not that I do any kind of proper painting, but you know what I mean. If you want anything that's going to be a bit accurate, you wouldn't want to use them, I wouldn't think. I'm hoping this plan's going to work, because I haven't got a second plan. I haven't got time to do anything else. Right, so I should put these two toothbrushes. I should put these paintbrushes into my pot. Right, let's see what we can do. I've used too much glue on this project. I don't like doing that, but there hasn't been a lot of choice. Right, these slats here, I've got one there, as you can see. They're going to go wherever they'll fit. It doesn't want to fit there. Anyway, they're going to go across the bed, like so. And then there'll be another 3, I would think. But I haven't got time to do that with you right now, so... And I'm also going to stain it all down. So you'll see that next week when we start doing the bedding for it. Oh, let's see. Now, I know these beads are handmade, and so they're all ever so slightly different sizes. And probably the way I've put the legs in too, they're going to be slightly different. Let's be honest. Am I going to go for Collal glue? Yeah, I'll go for Collal glue. It'll give it a bit more of a cushion. If you, ooh, well, it will if I put that much on, won't it? Gracious me, that's far too much. There's my other leg. Right. I do this all the time with this glue. It just comes out so fast. It's like unreal. Oh, that's a tall one. Sorry, I've got this wonky, like I say, it's got a slight bend on it for some reason. So my thoughts are, if I put the 2 taller ones there and there, right, where's the one without any glue? You've got a bit of glue on it. I'm going mad with the glue. I don't think we need to. Right there. And that one's got some on. Yep. And there. Right. When that's dry, I'll get back to you. Right, this is it at this point. Obviously, like I said, it's got to be stained down, have the slats finished on it. But that's more or less what it looks like. Sorry about the mess on my table, but it's been a hell of a job. So we'll finish it off next week, and I'll get the bedding done. See you then. Ta-ta for now.